Jackie had a lot to say in the confessionals, right? She was going off in the confessionals. I'm gonna stand behind my man, and I ain't all this rah-rah in the confessionals. But when she was in front of the girl's face, she didn't have nothing to say. In fact, she was crying. Welcome to La Vida Rosa. I'm your host Pinky, and today we're going to be talking about the Love is Blind After the Altar special. So if you'd like to see more, then just stay tuned. But before we begin, I would like for everyone to check out my website, lavidarosastyle.com, where you can find cute accessories like the ones I'm wearing right now, as well as handmade wire rings. So make sure you check those out. Like, comment, and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into this video. I forgot this special was coming on. And so I meant to watch it on the day that it came out. My head was in La La Land. I forgot. And so I finally turned it on, and child, I was watching that on like 1.5 sped up, okay? Because the way that it was dragging, the cheesiness, the sappiness, it was just beyond belief. I could not believe, like, it really did feel like a parody almost, except it wasn't funny. One of those dry, sarcastic, mockumentary type of things. That's what it felt like, except one that wasn't entertaining. I feel like a lot of these people are just trying to prove that they are in love instead of being natural on camera. Like, I feel like Brett and Tiffany are, but I have to be honest, they're not the most entertaining people. And I feel like in real life, if you're just living your real life, it's not going to be entertaining, especially if y'all are not arguing or in drama. So I'm not necessarily mad at it. What I am mad at is that they made it 3 episodes. This could have been 1 episode, put the drama at the end. That's all we didn't need all this extra stuff. Going to a baseball game and throwing the first pitch, like that was unnecessary, needed to be cut out. But I can't lie, everybody that was together at the reunion is still together today. I don't know what the time span was in between there, but maybe these people were ready to find love, and maybe they really did find it. I'm not gonna do too much questioning of that, because at the end of the day, they are married, and I want to see people happy and healthy. And if y'all are saying y'all are in happy, healthy relationships, I'm gonna go with that. And it also feels like most of them were trying to avoid drama with their exes, except for certain people. We'll get to them, but like there was only 1 altercation. Mike and Chelsea, they had their little conversation. Irina was doing her apology tour, and girl, ain't nobody worried about that. What's her name? Amber. Like, they brought Amber back to try to cause a little drama between Micah and Paul, and it wasn't hitting. I'm sorry, I don't care about Amber either. I feel bad that she got treated the way she did in the pods. But outside of that, like, we didn't need to know everything about what Amber's doing either. Since we already talking about Micah and Paul, let's get into them. Where they left off was Paul left Micah at the altar crying her eyes out. I feel like she was putting on, I don't feel like she was that distraught and that hurt, but I feel like this was the time for her to play the victim. Why is she still in contact with his mother? Like, I feel like stuff like that is kind of weird. Like, I know y'all were on the verge of getting married, but why are you still talking to his mom on a regular basis? Why is the mom still talking to her on a regular basis? Like, it's not like they were in this like 10-year long relationship, because I understand like over time you develop your own relationships, but y'all weren't even together a full year. The mom told her that Paul was dating someone else, and I don't know, the mom was just trying to push them to get back together. And she said that Paul still loves her, but Paul also said that he couldn't see her as a mother. If I want to get married to this man and he said that he couldn't see a nurturing aspect in me, like he couldn't see me being a mother, that's a deal breaker. I'm not trying to get back with him. I already know that if we have kids and something happens and we break up, you're going to try to take the children away from me. Like, I don't want to be in a situation like that. This whole special, they were going back and forth, will they, won't they type of thing. Paul does seem like he's a little bit wishy-washy. He wants to continue to text her and, you know, talk about how much he loves her, but then you want to date other people. Micah, I don't trust Micah either. Micah moved away and they broke up, and then now that she wants to move back, she wants to get back together on her own terms. And he's like, no. So y'all just let it go. Why are y'all even playing these games? I will say Micah is the one who says she wants a clean break. She says she wants the closure. Let's not keep this thing going. You know, maybe later on down the line we could be friends. I don't understand why Micah is still friends with, I'm just gonna call her Regina George, because that's who she is in your life. She literally laughed at your pain when this man shut you down at your wedding. And then you still friends with Irina, and Irina was flirting with him, low-key trying to steal him. So I can't with that friendship dynamic either. But if she like it, I love it. Let's move on to Brett and Tiffany. Black love. I love to see it. I love that they are both successful. I love that they are both so considerate of each other's feelings. Tiffany ended up having to move from Seattle to Portland in order for them to be together, and she said it was a huge adjustment, but Brett got that good paying Nike job. Of course she was moving. Y'all saw where he was staying, and he said he was willing to get a bigger place for them. I would have went too. I'm not mad at Tiffany. He ended up taking her on their honeymoon, and I forgot where they went though. They went somewhere nice for their honeymoon, and then she ended up surprising him with a trip, and like, you know, pack your bags, we going to the islands. I thought that was so cute. I love that, you know, they spoil each other. It's crazy that Brett designs Nikes. He designs sneakers for a living, but he really didn't know much about football. He had never played. He said he never played sports. He's always like an artistic person, and people just assume that he's played sports because of how he looks, which I probably would have too. I'm so excited for them. They genuinely seem happy with each other. So then we have Zach and Bliss. They are another couple that I was skeptical about, right? I was like, oh no. She was her second choice, and he doubled back to go back and get her, and then she didn't even really make him work for it much. Like, she kind of like fell back into his arms. I was like, I don't know how this is gonna work. They seem perfect for each other. They are each other's brand of corny. He sings to her for an hour to 2 hours at a time. I don't know how she sits through that, but she loves it. I don't know who said this, but somebody was like, it'll make you happiest to see them being themselves, no matter how corny or lame or, you know, stupid, nerdy it looks. You'll love it because you love that person. And it's true. Like, they love each other unconditionally, child. They tried to fool us into thinking that we're at the doctor's office trying to do in vitro or something like that, when in actuality he's allergic to her dogs. And so I guess they're trying to find the right shot or pill for him to take so that he can be around the dogs again. The dogs have been staying elsewhere because, child, he trying to keep his life. They're really close with Chelsea and Kwame, to the point where when they travel, they just get 2 beds in the same hotel room. And I'm like, y'all can't even get a suite where it's 1 bedroom over here, another bedroom over here, and y'all share the common area. Y'all have to sleep in the same room side by side. Like, that's a little, that's not too much for y'all. Okay, if you like it, I love it. Her dad ended up giving them a 2-week trip to Europe because they actually stayed together for a year. Which I think the dad should have done that, because he was really kind of nasty towards Zach and just the whole situation in general. And I feel like the dad knows he looks bad in this situation, so he's trying to smooth that over. This at least he could do, you know. And they look like they had an amazing time. They posted videos and pictures from it where they were constantly dancing and dipping. They laid on really, really thick. But anyway, let's move on to Chelsea and Kwame. They're another couple. If you like it, I love it. During the season, Kwame looks like he truly was not feeling Chelsea. And Chelsea was very controlling and neurotic the whole time. I don't think Kwame is as hesitant as he was before. He does seem like he's embraced marriage. But Chelsea is still just as bossy and controlling as she was before. I think Kwame has just fallen into that role. Like, maybe he doesn't mind it anymore. Maybe he embraces that part of it too. But I just could not sit up here while this woman talks to me like I'm a child. Like, Kwame will be talking like he want to brag a little bit when they were playing football, like we were good, we were better, and she was like, don't say that, don't say that, let's be humble. let that man brag if he want to. Like, I don't know, the way she was talking to him, she was trying to sun him a little bit, and I just wasn't here for it. And he was just doting on her every move, every moment. When they were going to throw the first baseball, why did he feel the need to pledge his undying love like they were Jack and Rose at the Titanic? It just didn't make sense. Like, she started crying and everything, and I'm like, y'all are laying it on too thick. It's making me think there's trouble in paradise and y'all are trying to throw a diversion in there, because that was overkill. He still has not learned to wipe her makeup off his nose when they kiss, because I don't know if she needs a different setting spray, but her makeup is super transferable. Every time they kiss, he gets this white powder or her foundation on his nose, and it looks extra ashy. And I'm just like, from now on, when y'all are in public and she kisses you and she has makeup on, just automatically go like this. They did say that he has not been able to travel as much as he would like to because of her work schedule, and he mentioned that before they got married, that he likes to travel, and but she works a lot, so she wouldn't be able to travel as much, and she didn't really acknowledge it originally, and now she is going above and beyond to acknowledge it, child. When they were talking about that, he does really seem unfulfilled in that area, because his face just completely dropped. It's like he couldn't even put on a mask for that part. Like, he looks so sad that he can't travel the way he likes to. And girl, do you not have like PTO? Do you not have vacation days? Y'all need to plan some vacations. Y'all need to plan some trips, because this man really did look upset that he can't move the way he likes to. And then he's also someone that had to move from where he was, his friends, you know, his daily activities. He likes to play soccer or whatever. He had to move away from all that to come live closer to her because of her job once again. And I don't believe they acknowledged that at all during this special. I would have liked to know about that too, because Kwame has given up a lot for this relationship. Chelsea acknowledges it, but what compromises are you making? Because that's not fair for him to have to give his all, and you're not giving much in return. Like, you're just trying to incorporate him in your life without you having to give anything else up, and that's just not fair. And I feel like at the end of the day, it's gonna breed resentment. You know, I don't know if it's gonna last. So they end up having this, I believe it was a birthday dinner for Chelsea. His sister, his real sister, y'all, it was not a paid actress, that's his actual sister, and his brother showed up, and they all had a big family dinner with her family. At one point, Chelsea told him to, hey, tell that story I like for you to tell. And you would think it was like a funny anecdote of, you know, something that happened to him when he was a little kid, something that was gonna be light, but it turned out to be like a very traumatic story that she was just like, oh yeah, tell the first time you had this traditional food. Turns out Kwame and his siblings were raised by his uncle until he was like 8, and then they had to travel to the States by themselves. Mind you, he had not seen his parents since he was 6 months old. His older siblings knew their parents, but he didn't know them, because when he was, 6 months, you don't remember that. So he didn't know his parents at all, to the point where when they were at the airport and his mom picked him up and was hugging him, he didn't know who she was. I feel like that's devastating. Like, I was almost on the verge of tears hearing that, because I can't imagine how that would play on your mental, you know what I'm saying? And then coming to this new country, being ripped from what you know to something you don't know at all, including your parents. Like, you, not only are you getting to know America and its customs, and it's totally different from where you're coming from, you don't know your parents either. So you're just in a whole new world. And I can't imagine being 8 years old and being just dropped into this brand new environment. At least he had his brother and sister, right? I'm sure they clung to each other during that time, but still crazy. His sister just looked completely uncomfortable during that entire conversation. She looked uncomfortable, but I'm glad his brother lightened it up, saying that was also his first time having Mountain Dew, and it just like sent him through the roof. that was cute, but I'm just like, Chelsea, don't just tell this man to tell this traumatic story as if it's just like a hat trick or something. She's so insensitive, like. But she did end up making it about herself once again and talking about how she did meet his mother, but it doesn't seem like the mother was too warm towards her. They didn't say that, but she said she wrote the mother this long letter talking about how she was so thankful for Kwame and thankful for her raising Kwame to be the man that he is today. And the mother took the letter and took it to her room and closed the door. So that's why I said it felt like the mother wasn't too warm and receptive, because it's not like she read the letter and came out and gave Chelsea a big hug. So I don't know, y'all. If they like it, I love it. That's the theme of this video. If they like it, I love it. So then let's talk about Marshall. Marshall has found a girlfriend who is very pretty, by the way, very intelligent. She just became a doctor. It's just nice to see Marshall with someone who seems like they really like him, because Jackie clearly did not. We all know how that situation ended. She low-key cheated on him with Josh, left him for Josh, and you know, that was heartbreaking for him. So it was nice to see Marshall find love, right? Marshall turned me off from some anti-black woman things that he had said online. He has apologized for it, but I was team Marshall. Now I'm just a little bit indifferent. It's nice to see. I'm glad to see from afar, brother. Hopefully y'all can walk down that aisle and live happily ever after. It's crazy though. Doesn't she kind of favor Tiffany? When her and Tiffany stood next to each other, I'm like, y'all could be sisters. Like, it was kind of weird. She looked so much like Tiffany. At some point, he did apologize to Jackie for pressuring her into being in this relationship. Okay. And she said there's no beef, and she apologized for being so messy about everything. And she claims to have really liked him, child. Don't nobody believe that. After everything you said about him behind closed doors and in front of the camera, I just find it hard to believe that you did. Because if I really cared about somebody, I don't care how mad they made me. The things you said about him, about you thinking he was gay and everything, and you know, emasculating him the way you did, I can't believe that. I feel like all of this part of them apologizing to each other, I feel like all of that was for show, so they can look like the bigger people. So now let's get to Jackie and Josh. Jackie says she don't care what y'all say about his ears. She licks those broccoli ears every night, and she made sure to say that a few times during this special. Girl, if you're insecure about his ears, just say that. When they were talking to each other, their dialogue was a little awkward, maybe because they were on camera. Even though they've been together for a year, it felt like they were on a first date, the way they were acting. It was so awkward. It also felt like a middle school relationship. Like, she kind of got into this weird baby talk, and he acted like he wanted to give her a noogie or something like that. The way he was constantly like throwing things at her. It's just the way he was treating her. Didn't really see him give her like a hug or a kiss or flowers, or he just wasn't romantic at all. But she didn't like that from Marshall. She didn't like that Marshall was so romantic and considered her feelings and was emotionally intelligent. So maybe she likes that caveman type of love. At one point, they were clowning Marshall for apologizing online. You and your man definitely got online and was apologizing because y'all couldn't take the heat when y'all were being messy. Then we meet Kasha. I hope that's her name. Her and Kasha were friends from the pods, and Kasha ended up dating Marshall after Jackie broke up with him. Jackie didn't have a problem with this because Jackie never wanted Marshall in the first place, right? Let's just be real. She didn't want him from the time she saw him. She felt some type of way because at the reunion, Marshall was downplaying their relationship, saying it was only one date. But she said it was more than one date. And at one point he said that he should have chosen Kasha because I guess he was dating Kasha and Jackie in the pods, and he ended up choosing Jackie. So after Jackie broke up with him, he ran back to Kasha, and Kasha was like his shoulder to cry on. And at the reunion, he just like, whatever, that was just one date. And she was like, well, you know, I felt some type of way because I built you back up and you just brushed me off. But nothing came of that conversation. She never even confronted him when she saw him. So I don't even understand why they put that in there other than to be messy. Or maybe so she could tell her side of the story. So then we meet Monica, somebody else who wasn't featured on the original show. She dated Josh while he was dating Jackie while they were in the pods. They actually ended up getting engaged, but it never aired. I wonder why they were not included with the other couples. Did they immediately not work out after the engagement? Like when she saw him, she did say he was a little too jokey. He was playing too much. He was too childish. But I just wonder why they were not featured with the other couples, because I would have liked to see that dynamic. Also, it seemed like Josh only chose her because Jackie chose Marshall. But they ended up breaking it off. He ended up getting with Jackie, obviously, and she was cool about it. Turns out Monica was also good friends with Jackie while she was in the pod. So they were good friends. And the fact that she ended up with Josh, it didn't break them up because they were cool. She understood. But at some point, Monica wanted to tell her story. So she got on TikTok, she got online, and she told her side, I guess, that her and Josh were engaged at some point, and just how she felt. I've never saw the actual footage of this. I didn't care to go look it up, but it sounded harmless enough. But Josh didn't like that. He said that she was being messy in the comments. It just feels like at the end of the day, Josh doesn't want anything to do with Monica because that's his ex, and he doesn't want Jackie to be friends with her. And Jackie is a my man type of woman, and she gonna go behind whatever he says. And at the end of the day, if they are gonna be serious and gonna be together in the long run, even though it don't seem like neither one of them want to get married, I don't know why they came on this show. It would be kind of weird for her to be friends with someone he was once engaged to. So I'm not necessarily mad at her, but when Monica confronted the whole situation, Jackie had a lot to say in the confessionals, right? She was going off in the confessionals. I'm a stand behind my man, and I ain't all this rah-rah in the confessionals. But when she was in front of the girl's face, she didn't have nothing to say. In fact, she was crying. That's my problem with Jackie. You have a lot to say behind people's backs and online, but when people actually confront you, you ball up and you start crying and you want to be so meek and mild. Like, keep that same energy. And so I feel like instead of her confronting Monica, she brought Josh over there to go off on her. And I didn't like that either. That's your friend. You're the one who cut her off. Be a woman enough to tell her why. It didn't have to be messy like that. It didn't have to be all this tension. Like, you need to grow up, Jackie, is what I'm saying. Like, because you did the same thing with Marshall. If you would have been open and honest, it didn't have to get as messy as it got. And don't have your man coming over here hollering at a woman, because that wasn't cool either. I didn't like how he was just sitting there raising his voice with her, telling her she's all types of clout chaser. He didn't give her a chance to speak. She was trying to tell her side of the story, and he was constantly deflecting. And I thought it was funny when he was like, well, you know, you had people talking crazy about me in your comments. She was like, I cannot monitor every comment. I actually have a job. And I'm like, Monica, what you trying to say? Because I do know Josh is a boxer or something like that, right? So was she trying to question the fact that he doesn't really have a job? I don't know. I also love how Chelsea went off on Josh and told him, you need to start being a bigger person. The situation is messy, but you don't have to handle it like that. Stop blowing up every time there's a disagreement or you see somebody you don't like. Take care of your woman. Don't have her out here looking crazy. I like how she went off on him because he needed somebody to tell him to grow up. Y'all are very childish. At the end of the day, Jackie and Josh, y'all have to realize y'all are the drama. Y'all are the drama. No one else in this situation has gotten into it with as many people as y'all have individually. I just remember at the reunion, y'all didn't even show up to the reunion. Y'all do all this stuff on camera. Y'all talk all this crap, but then you get in front of people and you can't even keep that same energy. So that's why I'm like, I don't see that relationship working, because both of them are too volatile and both of them are too immature to truly communicate their feelings. I feel like they're the type to let things build up higher and higher and higher, and just explode on each other. It's just not healthy. It's not, it's toxic. It's a toxic way to be. But yeah, that's all I have to say about this special, you guys. Let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? I would love to hear your opinion. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Peace.